Hey, do you have an attention-seeking dog? Let me explain what I'm talking about. For the last, oh, it's almost 2 years now, I can't believe that, we've been staying home with the COVID. And so our dogs have really learned an awful lot about us, more than perhaps we want them to know. I actually took some notes for you guys, which I really do, but I want you to hear me out. As I said, because we've been spending so much time with our pets, they've developed attention-seeking behaviors, knowing exactly what they need to do. Let me give you an example of some of those behaviors. Barking. So all of a sudden, the dog, when you were working regular hours, the dog wasn't barking so much, but now he's barking a little bit more when you're home. He knows that if he's quiet, you might go over and pat him on the head, but if he's barking, you're going to try to tell him to knock it off for at least 5 or 10 minutes. So barking is one way your dog knows how to get your attention. And one of the big mistakes people make when the dog is barking is, as I said, starting to yell at the dog, and therefore they're actually reinforcing the dog's barking. Number two, whining, the same thing. No one wants to hear their dog whining. No one wants to hear that. Come on, it breaks your heart. It makes you feel horrible. But dogs are pretty smart. I've been working with them for over 50 years and have trained over 40,000. Let me tell you, I still don't understand them. However, whining, they know. They learn that if they whine a little bit, mom and pop is going to come over and calm them down or make them feel better. Number three, some dogs, and this is incredible. Years ago I wrote an article on whether dogs can be hypochondriacs or not. And I've actually had some situations from clients all over the country that had called me up and said, Warren, my dog never vomited, never threw up. Never, ever, ever. Occasionally when he was sick. But now, since I've been spending more time at home with the dog, he seems to be throwing up a little bit more. Could it be psychological? The answer is yeah. Not that you're stressing the dog out, but the dog understands. Dogs learn through association. So sometimes, and this is really weird, but it does happen, the dog realizes if it upchucks a little bit, mom and dad are going to come over and spend a lot of time cuddling him. So that's something else you don't want to do. And years ago, kind of interesting, I was working with a dog that had something called panosteitis. It's kind of a puppy thing where they limp on one leg and then maybe a month later they'll limp on another leg. But the dog outgrew it and the dog was fine. But whenever the dog wanted sympathy, he would fake that limp. Dogs are amazing at what they can do. So perhaps sometimes a dog will fake something, a limp or something like that to get your attention. I know it sounds eccentric, believe me, it does happen. And other things you need to know. The main principle in terms of resolving the dog that's constantly seeking attention from my perspective, you guys know me, I say give him more attention, but in reality, you can't always do that. Make sure your dog is mentally stimulated. Yeah, we've all been busy. We're all got our little anxieties and depressions with everything that's going on. But the more you react to what the dog is getting attention for, the more the dog is going to do exactly what he's doing to get that attention. Now, normally speaking, in normal times, I would pay a lot more attention if my dog was getting sick, if my dog was barking excessively. But as I said, because we've been spending so much time with our dogs, it's almost like they're demanding our attention, and our cats as well. So remember, if you have a dog that all of a sudden is starting to behave in a different way or has a habit that's developing, of course you want to check with your vet, make sure it's not medical, but it's always a good idea to look at it from the dog's point of view and say, you know what, I'm home with me for 8 hours, they're working on their computer, they're talking on the phone, I don't know who they're talking to, what are they, whatever. But the dog wants attention, they crave attention. So make sure, no matter what you do, I do this, I've been working out of the home for a while now. In fact, I'm broadcasting my radio show very often from my home because of COVID. And I make sure that during the day, there's at least 3, 4, 10, 15-minute breaks for me to go outside and hang out with my dogs and keep everything as normal as I possibly can. So that's good advice for everyone out there. But you are going to notice, and people are noticing, that because we've been spending so much more time at home, our dogs, in fact, and our cats, I keep saying dogs, but our cats as well, are really demanding more of our time. And what I say to people, it's not the quantity of time you spend with your dog or cat that's important. It's the quality of time you spend with your dog or cat that's important. So going over and saying, good boy, you're laying over there, patting him on the head, and you're right back at your computer, that's not the way to do it. Take him outside, let him dig a hole, run around the backyard, have a good time with him. Make sure that you're giving him plenty of attention when he's not asking for it, so he doesn't have to beg for it consistently. It's only fair. Come on, you can do whatever you want. Your dog's always there for you. Your cat's always there for you. So now that they realize that, you know what, it's kind of nice having mom and pop around the house, but we got more attention when they weren't around the house. They go to work, they come home after 8 hours, they take us for a long walk. Now it's kind of like good dog, good cat. Make sure you stick with your plan. Make sure you spend time with your pets, but also make sure the time you spend with your pets is quality time, not just a pat on the head or giving the dog a new toy. And remember, you're going to see this more and more as you spend more time at home. Well, obviously, I'm hoping that we don't have to spend any more time at home, but a lot more people have decided that this is their career now. They're not going to go back to the office. They can work out at home successfully. So we're going to be spending more and more time with our dogs and our cats in our home environment. So it's important for everyone to understand what working at home is all about. My dogs understand when I go into my office, sometimes I got to do some work. I can't be on top of them 24/7, but they also know that in a few minutes, Pop will take a break, go in the backyard, we'll run around, we'll play, we'll roll in the grass together, whatever we're going to do. Make sure you keep your dogs and your cats mentally stimulated. The more stimulation they get, the more quality time you spend with them, the less of a pain in the butt they'll be. I'm Warren Eckstein. Talk to you on the Pet Show.